Hello and welcome to the Calumet Wilderness with Sam Love. I'm your host, Sam Love. We're going to look at the public land survey system in this video, leading up to the next video about interpreting old maps. This is a great tool for that. Now, it can be a little complicated. There is some specific language. I don't want to get too far into the weeds. Instead, I'd rather just give us a baseline, no pun intended, baseline understanding of this system. And if you like to read, I did an article on ourgarystories.com, so I'll put that in the link below. Before we get into all that, though, if you haven't already clicked that subscribe button, could you please do that? And again, to those of you that already have, thank you. And to everybody who leaves comments, hits likes, shares, again, I really appreciate all that. Now, before I get going, I just want to give a heads up to everyone. I've got two cats running in and out of the room, including on me. So any weird sounds you hear, those are the cats. So the public land survey system is a surveying method that was devised to catalog and describe the lands that the United States obtained after the end of the Revolutionary War in 1783. It comes out of the Land Ordinance of 1785. So this is the system that was used to go out and survey basically the Old Northwest, the Great Lakes states. Lucky for us, the state of Indiana uses this system. Not every state uses this exact system. Some of the ones out west, some of the ones out east. So it's a really useful system, although it can be a little complex to learn at first. You can learn it quickly. It's a very useful system for a couple of things, most notably our purposes, which is interpreting past landscapes. Old maps use this system as their base, so we can pinpoint specific places and see how they may have changed or not over time. This is also an extremely useful tool if you do genealogy. If you have ancestors who bought land from the government in the 19th century or after, you're going to have records that use the language of the public land survey system. Perhaps you might be even researching the history of your house or your property. That became kind of a popular thing when people finished their family trees, is to look into that. So if those are your interests, this video will hopefully be useful to you. Well, as this cascade of probably unfamiliar and technical terminology rolls by, I think there's just a couple of basic terms that you need to know in order to be able to effectively use this system. Really, it's just 3 terms. So it gets tricky right from the beginning. The first term is township, and there are actually 2 different meanings of the term township in this system. So the first one is a measurement of distance north or south from or baseline. It's a distance of 6 miles. Or it could mean a square parcel of land that is 36 square miles. So it's a collection of 36 sections. So 2 different definitions. Also, just to make things a little bit more confusing, there's a township as we know it, which are electoral bodies, a subunit of county government. You can tell this is an old map because Griffith is still in Calumet Township here. So forget about that one entirely. Forget I even put up here. Let's get back to the public land survey system definitions. So just remember, 2 definitions of township. Now, range is much more simple because there's only 1 definition. Range is simply a measurement of distance east or west, also in 6-mile units. And our final term is section, which is simply an approximately 1 square mile block of land. There are 36 sections to a township, typically. And notice that, I know the numbers are kind of small, but if you look on the upper right, it starts at the number 1, and then it moves to the left. Then it goes down and moves to the right, and it snakes its way all the way down to 36. Not sure why it does that, but I got used to it really easily, so no problem there. So combined, if you know township, range, and section, you can locate any point on a map that uses the public land survey system. Just for context, most of Indiana, including the parts that we're concerned with here, go off the 2nd principal meridian, which is a pivot point in the southern part of the state near the Ohio River in Orange County, just south of the small town of Paoli. So consider downtown Gary. The township for that is 36 north. The range is 8 west. So what that means, 36 times 6, that's 216 miles north. 8 times 6, that's 48, 48 miles west. So that particular township that encompasses downtown Gary is 216 miles north and 48 miles to the west of the pivot point where this survey was based. Chicago uses a different system. Some of Illinois doesn't, but Chicago does. So we can take a look at that at a later date. Or if you have questions about that, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to keep talking about this stuff. As far as accessing public land survey system information online, there are quite a few good free options out there. One I like to use is EarthPoint, which is an add-on that you can use with Google Earth. I like to be able to zoom in and out as well as the historical data. I also found another one really simple to use. randymajors.org has a Google map overlaid with the public land survey system. So you can basically just click anywhere and it'll tell you exactly what township, range, and section you're in. Very convenient. And there is a wealth of genealogical, environmental, and historical information on there. So up our alley, definitely. So those are the very basics of the public land survey system. A great useful tool for many things that are quite different from what it was originally devised for. So in the next episode, or at least in a near future episode, I'll take a look at how we can use this system to interpret information from old maps to get answers to specific environmental and historical questions out here. So thank you again for checking out these videos. I really appreciate that and appreciate your landscape. All right, take care, everybody. Till the next time.